been the emotional drop-off, for lack of a better phrase, last week's loss now against the West? I don't want to say you concede the West Division, but it looks like it's impossible to do anything there.
Well, the good thing is the game's on Tuesday. I think it would have been really hard or harder to go out there if this was a Saturday game. On Monday we went out there. Bill and myself, a lot of coaches went out on the road recruiting. So me and Bill just went over there and just pointed out. And then after about 3 series offensively, it's all right. Does this kind of make you sick on how we threw this thing away? And yeah, so they see the positive. They see the negatives, but they also see the positive. If we would have done this, it would have been better. So they go out there and they run. They stay afterwards. I didn't have to keep anybody out there. I kept a couple guys, but half the team stayed out there working on their skill. Nobody told them to do it. They just did it. And then on Tuesday, we gave them off. So that's a day that they can kind of recuperate. Come in here yesterday and went out and practice, had a good practice, enthusiastic. I mean, everybody was there. I mean, the kids are running around. They're having fun, enjoying it. And a lot of times these guys, what are you supposed to do? Like when people, I listen to people, well, this is lost, that is lost. You just quit. I mean, you just like give up. I mean, that's not the way things are. And so our kids are such that they're going to keep fighting. And our job is to keep on fighting with them. And so you get up in the morning and just like the kids, come to practice and you go 100 miles an hour. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But if you don't do it, I know it'll never work.
Can you expand on that a little bit? Because I've been saying for a number of years that when you talk about the national title race, it seems like if you lose a game in September and you're out of the race, the media thinks you just back it up.
Right.
Is there just way too much of that kind of stuff where you lose a big game and it's like, oh, I must put the gear away because we can't do X, Y, or Z now?
Right. Fans can do that. Media can do it. But your team can't, because your team's got to go out there. I mean, this is important. Every time, the Army-Navy game, you take that for example. I mean, there's a lot of times those teams are going in there with 1 or 2 wins all year long. But that's you got to keep fighting to get to that spot there and go win that football game. And and these kids, they've invested way too much. They're not like the fan out there or even the media. You guys, and everybody, they go and they watch the game and then they go home and they have their Sundays off and they go home for dinner and all this stuff. These guys got to keep on fighting, and so they can't afford not to work. But that becomes ingrained in these guys here. So that's why it's so easy to come to work, even though it's not working out. Shoot, it's easy. You come in there and to be honest with you, Sundays is hard. It's hard for coaches. Monday, it's pretty hard. But Monday afternoon when we have the team meeting, it gets a whole lot easier because you got there are players that you actually you go out there and you love them and you want them to be successful. So you sitting there and you go, I got to do everything possible to make sure these guys are successful. And then I think they feed off coaches. Oh, okay, it's all right. Hey, we lost. Yeah, it was the worst loss we've had since we've been here. But the kids, they sit there and go, okay, well, it's okay. We'll get ourselves better. And there's no other way to do it. If we went in there and berated them and yelled and screamed at them and did that, you'd lose them and they would sit there, why? But, just point it out, hey, this is how we could have done things better. And they'll play hard.
Talk a little more about how good the paper is.
Real good. He's the thing that makes him probably better than almost anybody else in the league as far he runs the ball real well. He was an ex-quarterback in high school, so you can have everybody covered and play coverage, and then he could just take off and run for whatever. So he's real experienced, and he's I've met him at the media day. He's a great kid. He's just a nice leader. You could see him out there. He directs everything. He's really good for a football player.
Thoughts on the game being on Tuesday? I mean, especially when it first came out, you saw it, and now that it's here and stuff like that, has your thought changed on it, or is it the same?
I'd still rather, I shouldn't say that. Whatever they say, it's just, it screws you up in the week, because when you go in there and in the staff meetings, like today's Thursday. Well, today's not Thursday. Today's Tuesday. This is the work week on Tuesday. Saturday is Thursday. You know, and that's how you go about things, and you get a little bit screwed up a little, because last night, you know, it was usually recruiting calls on Wednesday. Well, it's not really Wednesday, it was Monday. You know, so you're sitting in there, and now your work schedule during the week it becomes a little bit different. But you know, Tuesday, it's going to be a great day for Kalamazoo. I mean, we got a chance to show the nation, okay, what kind of fans we got out there. And, you know, I think that's a great opportunity.
How does this rivalry with Central rate among the other two departments?
Just as intense. I've been at the Florida State, Cal, Stanford, Missouri, Kansas, and I didn't know anything about that rivalry until I got down there. And it's you know, for me, it's just you know, people take it personal, which is what happens in rivalries, and I think you know, our kids understand it a whole lot, and you got to be around here for a couple of years. You know, I'm sure Robbie understands it a lot better than Robert Arnheim right now, but they'll get it. The younger guys, they'll get it, because the older guys will let them know. I think having Jake on the staff helps out, but it's a fierce rivalry. I mean, it's and I like it. I mean, I don't think it's one of those where it's a bad rivalry in some terms. You know, sometimes you play teams and it's just a nasty game. You know, it's just cheap shots and stuff like that. I don't see that. I think it's just a good, healthy rivalry that guys like to play in.
You get a lot of extra calls from alumni, emails from alumni, and people like that. Just who have extra. You talk about dislike for the other side this week.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I haven't read a paper, and I haven't checked an email one time. You know, in this last 7 days, I've kind of, you know, you get holed up in there. You know, and it's just, yeah, sorry, Graham, but I just, you know, you just sit in there, and I'll check my emails a little bit later this afternoon, and I think everybody understands, you know, how important this thing is. Even when, you know, the first 2 years I didn't get many, but you know it, you feel it, because I've been here before.
Anything stick out from the handful of games that you've been involved in the CMU, even back to, you know, the earlier days?
Yeah, my first year when we played, Coach Lester, he threw an intercept for a touchdown on a screen, and then we came back, and then we went up there. Thought we had the game on, and we fumble. And the guy's running across the route, and he's going to go in, and he fumbles, and the next thing I know, they kick a field goal, and barely gets over the. I don't even know how it gets over the upright, to be honest with you. I mean, but it does. And then come back here, my first year, I think they had over 500 yards our first year here, and we scored 3 consecutive first down plays. So I think every one of them. And of course, last year was the worst weather I've ever played in. So
Still a bad taste in your mouth from that miserable weather and deal last year.
no, you know, for me, it's you know, I kind of get over it, and then you just got to move on. I think if you reflect a lot, you're not doing these guys. They're two different teams right now, and so for me, just keep on getting these guys. You know, give them the best opportunity we can.